A humanitarian crisis for the media. That's how one press freedom organization is describing the Myanmar military crackdown on journalists. At least 32 are currently detained, the New York-based Committee to Protect Journalists says. The figure is a massive spike compared with the group's December global census of jailed media, when Myanmar accounted for only one case.
This is a worse situation than in China. This is a worse situation than in Turkey. This is a worse situation than Iran. This is a global press freedom crisis on a scale, frankly, I haven't seen in Southeast Asia in all my years of covering press freedom.
Myanmar's military faced some arrests under the civilian government of Aung San Suu Kyi, but nothing on the scale seen since the military seized power in February and arrested the pro-democracy leaders. Broadcast licenses were revoked and journalists were detained, often under incitement or false news charges. Many have fled to neighboring countries to avoid arrest.
Since the February 1 military coup, we've seen an extraordinary deterioration in the press freedom conditions there. And in just looking at the jailing of journalists alone, it seems pretty clear that the junta regime is aiming to eliminate the free press altogether.
Among those detained is American journalist Danny Fenster, who has been held for over 65 days and denied medical attention for the coronavirus. Fenster is one of 4 foreign journalists who have been arrested. A move, Crispin says, sends a chilling message.
That sends a pretty strong signal to all foreign media that if you do send your representatives into the country, they could face similar treatment.
Myanmar has freed some journalists and protesters, but for those still detained, conditions are dire, with reports of torture and overcrowding. American journalist Nathan Monk says he was beaten and abused before finally being freed and deported. Meanwhile, U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin in Singapore Tuesday called for the release of those detained, saying the refusal of Myanmar's military to respect rights is flatly unacceptable. Myanmar's military council has not directly responded to VOA queries on the treatment of detainees, but a spokesperson said the questioning of suspects is in accordance with the rules and regulations. The future of democracy is at stake, Mung says.
People are dying out there every day. There is the fight to protect for democracy and human rights. So I would like to, tell the international community, take the side right now. Take the side for humanity. We are fighting for humanity.
Myanmar's junta should free all detained journalists and end its censorship and harassment of the media, says the Committee to Protect Journalists. The rights group is calling on the international community to review sanctions and support those fleeing the repression. For Witrita Dundee in Bangkok, Jesus Oni, VOA News.